Welcome to episode 2 of Geek Ronin. I'm one of the people that you hear jawing at each other. My name's Thomas. Um, the podcast, first and foremost, is brought to you by this cool studio out in New York called Inbeon Studios. If you want to learn more about them, go to inbeon.com. That's INBEON.com. Cool stuff going on there. Lots of really cool things in the works. We're also brought to you by Inbeon Con, a convention put on by the aforementioned studio. If you want to learn more about that, go to inbeoncon.com. That's INBEONCON.com. That's a really cool convention. You guys should check it out. It's in Long Island, New York. So you should get on that. The music breaks today. The first one is by a cool band that we all know, or at least I hope that you guys have heard of. It Lives, It Breathes. Now, if you want to check out their music, you can go to their Spotify channel, which is, I do believe, spotify.com/It Lives, It Breathes. And you can also find them on YouTube as well at youtube.com/It Lives, It Breathes. Really cool stuff. They do a lot of awesome covers. We've had Kevin on the show that we were on before several times, so uh, check them out for sure. The second one is by Time and Lep. You can check those guys out at facebook.com/Time and Lep. Um, and that's pretty much it. This episode is oh no, that is not it. There is a special voicemail at the very end. Uh, well, you'll see. Just listen to the end. Um, yeah, this episode is pretty much us just rambling, like I am right now. Uh, we ramble about Baby Driver, Atomic Blonde, and then we just get into movies, and that's where we sit for the majority of this episode. So enjoy, and we'll see you guys next time.
Geek Ronin, what's up?
Yo, this be the Darko of Danny. You're listening to Geek Ronin, not We the Geek, Tom.
I'm with it. So what's let's get cracking?
Yeah, I was just about to say that, yeah.
I don't know. I think Guy might not be on tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
What do you
got
mean, go?
so we got uh Baby Driver, Atomic Blonde, the whole domino thing that I still don't really understand. Well, I understand it, but I don't understand why it matters so much.
We are the reasons why we can't have nice things, and by we I mean fucking them. All of these fucking like I hate to say it, like I feel like the guy who always gets mad at the like social justice warrior, the keyboard warriors, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, nah, like sometimes like they're valid, but like
Yeah.
nah. For a lot of the reasons that we've kept bringing up, especially lately, have been like, yo, are you fucking serious?
Yo, can I bring up one thing? It's a little kind of
Sure.
off topic, but it's
Do
not
it.
off topic at the same time.
Do it.
Did you guys hear about the I forget his name, something Jones from he's a football player, the Jets drafted him, a defensive back or something like that. So he came out and said something about, like if he could die anywhere, it would be on the football field.
Yeah.
And they totally blew that out of context. Like on ESPN today, it said something about he might have meant that that's how much he loved the game. And I'm like, yo, when you hear somebody say,
That's exactly what he meant. That's like
If I
saying
could
a
die
fisherman.
anywhere, I'd die
That's
on the
like that's
football
like a
field.
fisherman. That's like a fisherman saying like I would be happy dying at sea.
because they like
You know
they
what I
were
mean? Like
they were bringing up the whole CTE thing, and I'm like, yeah, that's a thing, but this dude is not saying that the CTE doesn't exist. He's not knocking that or anything like that. All he's saying is that he loves the game that much. So I'm like, it's funny because for the past day or so, ESPN has been talking about that, and I'm like, you guys really all of a sudden, like, if he had said this 10 years ago, like,
Nobody
you
would have
know,
cared.
no, it's just like,
All
so
right, so
it kind of falls into the same
like you
category.
realize like we're in that era like where
Can't say
like think
anything.
of the wrestling like the WWE, WWF that we grew up with as compared to now. Like fucking Sable was stripping. Like we fucking saw the wildest shit that can possibly
Which
be
one? Which
TV
one had the
acceptable.
painted on bikini?
Sable.
So
It
was
was
it
that-
Sable?
No, I think that was Trish.
Trish. I don't
Probably
know
Trish
who it
Stratus, yeah.
was.
I wouldn't be sure. I
I just know
Sable
that
had.
one
I
of
know
them.
Sable had the pasties, like the hand pasty, like that.
No.
Little
This
kids.
this one had just it was like a painted on top.
I want to say Trish because Trish did some wild shit too. Like, you figure like all that shit is said and done back then. You know what I mean? Even cartoons that we had back when were so like, did they just say that in a children's cartoon? But now, God forbid, like borderline adult joke happens in a kids movie where kids it's gonna be a joke that yes it's gonna be funny for kids because kids can see it one way, but they have to leave in enough funny for the adults to not be bored out of their minds.
Yeah.
True.
So
And
if you're gonna
you could do it in a
if you're gonna
smart.
sit there and rightfully try to argue with the whole you can have a kids movie and it doesn't need to be funny for adults, I call bullshit. Like I love kids movies as much as the next, and I do believe that like kids movies should remain kids movies at heart. But if you're gonna sprinkle in a fucking adult joke without
dude,
it
come on.
being
Did anyone
overly
fucking
like,
watch any cartoons as kids? Like,
That's
did
what I'm
any of
saying.
those people
like,
watch fucking? I mean, Shrek. I was like a 10, 12-year-old teenager. I don't remember when the first Shrek came out, but it couldn't have been more than like middle school,
The whole
junior
ass
high.
joke.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think he's compensating for something. What do you think he's they made him short to make it look like it was because
Yeah.
he was short, but we all knew that they were making a dick
fucking
joke.
things.
Everybody knew that it was a dick
Absolutely.
joke. Well, at least all the adults did. All the
Yeah,
kids
I mean,
read it as because he
Kids
was
are
short.
just like, right. But like
Dude, it's
now
just
we're getting
crazy,
so
man.
fucking overly sensitive about everything, and like it's getting to the point where it's like, when is enough enough? Because at this point, we're like not even a whole year in, and we've done this same like topic of people being sensitive for no reason.
Oh, dude,
Probably
at
like
least
8 times.
oh,
If
dude,
if
so
that.
many more, so many more. Most
Yeah,
of
it's
the
been
year
almost
has
every
been
week.
that.
Like it's almost every
Which
week.
is
where
why
we're just
I'm
getting
excited to talk about Baby Driver and Game of Thrones.
and also talk about football. Going back, this is like the last week that
This
we
is
had
the last week
football.
without football, and I'm so excited.
Yo, this is I when Danny mentioned it, I fucking got super excited. I was
Oh
actually
yeah,
talking
we're gonna
with
be
one of
talking
my
football next
about
week.
it today.
I haven't been listening to a lot of sports radio, honestly, lately.
Dude, it's
I'm
pointless.
still
Like,
a little
dude,
I'm still
it-
disappointed that teams aren't trying to pick up Cap. Like
I think people
that's like
blow
one of
that
the
way out of the. People blow that shit out of proportion
Yeah.
so bad with him.
they are.
But
It's like it's like you like when people started making the comparison to Vic and him, I was like, yo,
Oh,
like
that's-
really,
that's like
really, like
apples
you
and oranges.
like people.
He kneeled
Yeah,
during the
like-
national anthem. Whoa, no.
Oh my
Michael
God.
Vick fucking trained and fought pit bulls and ran a whole ring, and like
Right.
that's
Cap never
bad.
broke the law.
He buried
Cap never
dogs in
broke
his
the
backyard.
law. It was just
like,
public
in
perception.
his backyard were buried dogs. That's how we got
Well,
caught.
wait. Well, hold on. The whole thing with Vic, though, to digress a little bit, Vic wasn't the one who was killing the dogs. He was just sponsoring, supporting his cousin or whatever. So he's just as guilty, though he he never took a knife to a dog's throat and killed a dog.
True.
So like
No.
it's-
He's
it's-
just as guilty by association.
yeah.
But the degrees of like where Cap is taking a knee and he's
Yeah.
associating with
But what
like
Kaepernick did was
inhumane
illegal.
like cruelty to animals. Like that's like a
But
you know
the only difference, it's a huge difference anyway. But the only real difference is that what Kaepernick's doing isn't illegal.
Yeah.
No,
That's the thing.
there
It's
is no
freedom of
law
speech.
that says that you can't
you would
take a
think that
knee
it
during
fucking
the
is.
fucking.
You would think that he's fucking burning flags and
Technically,
fucking
burning flags is
crucifying
legal.
people.
Burning a flag is legal as a form of
Right.
protest. People are
It
gonna
is,
kick your ass for it. People will kick
people
your ass
are gonna
for it,
sit
but they
there.
will.
Yeah, but his
But you
like
can't go to jail
people
for
don't
it.
understand when it's like freedom of speech, and there's always an asterisk. Like, yo, like if you're gonna sit here and tell me I can do this, but then I can't do that, when it still falls under this, like it does. Like, why? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen wild shit happen and be like, that's freedom of speech. No one's doing anything about it. But we're gonna take a knee and y'all gonna get mad? Like, why? Like that don't make no sense. Naming me as a black guy, like a black guy in America on this podcast right now, that's not even like my issue is like, yo, he's not doing anything to anyone. And he's still a good quarterback.
And honestly, he did it for 2 or 3 games before any of the media caught on. And then as soon as someone caught it, and there was started to be any outrage, they would
It
just
became this
fucking
big
shit
thing.
on him. He did it for the first 2 or 3 games
At
of
the
preseason,
at
and
the at
nobody
the
said a fucking word.
at the very least, I'm more surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm more surprised that they're not looking at what he's doing off the field as opposed to what he's doing on the field. Because off the field, your man spent at least what 2/3 of his salary in like charities and like
Oh,
giving
fuck
away
yeah.
stuff and helping out like the community. But yet you guys want to fucking martyr him like he's like the worst person in the world. Ben Roethlisberger, fucking like, there's so many other like people.
remember,
You know what I mean?
everyone's excuse for that is you're an athlete, you're paid to entertain. Don't use your platform for political shit. Which
But then
is
when they
which is
don't use
which
their
is
platform to
yeah.
do anything, supportive
What's the
of
point of
whatever,
having that
then
platform if you can't do anything with it?
yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah,
Regardless,
I'm sorry. We're not to get into that
it's
little rant.
okay. It's
But
okay.
what's on the
All
agenda
right, so
today?
we got
The
Baby
bigger thing.
Driver. We've got Atomic Blonde, which I haven't
Yeah,
seen
some
yet,
chick.
but I know
Well, I
you.
haven't seen Baby Driver, so I mean, we can get into it unless you want to wait another week and then like have us like actually go back and forth since we will both. I'm planning on seeing Baby Driver this weekend, or at least by the time we like do the next one.
Well, that's fine. Well, all I
So
really
if you plan on seeing Atomic Blonde, then we can actually do it back and forth
that's cool.
because they were essentially the hyped action movies of the summer with no real comic book. Well, Atomic Blonde has a graphic novel, like it's an adaptation, but there's no real like Marvel, DC whole big thing, and it's refreshing for me a little bit.
Baby Driver was written and directed by Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim, baby. You know the thing with this,
all what like Shaun of the Dead,
No
Hot
way.
Fuzz, At
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
That makes sense why that movie looks so lit. Like
Dude,
it
it was so good.
That makes so much sense.
All right, I'll tell you how good it is without even giving away any of the story. It was so good that I went and spent money on the fucking soundtrack.
Oh, that's always a big deal.
Holy shit.
I spent
You know what's funny?
I spent $20 on the soundtrack too.
You know what's funny though? Like
30 songs though.
I know a lot of people have been hyped for Atomic Blonde, and I mean those movies may be good. But my thing is this: like, all right, when Taken came out, very good movies, big surprise. Then Taken 2 came out. Then Taken 3 came out. Then we had a slew of Taken type movies
Oh,
where it's just
everyone's
body
done
count
one of
movies.
those.
Yeah, now everybody. I mean, you got the Jamie Foxx one, which I haven't seen. Denzel had one, which I heard was actually
feel like
good.
they're trying to be closer to like not Bond, but like a spy like esque like 80s, because essentially it's set during the end of the Cold War. Like
Wait, what are we
literally,
talking about? Atomic Blonde?
like
Which one?
Atomic Blonde is set just before the Berlin Wall fell.
Yeah,
Like
and
a
like
week, if not. You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
saying, and I'm not saying those movies are bad. I mean, because I haven't seen a bunch of them. Like, even with John Wick, like John Wick 1 was a surprise movie. Now I heard a lot of good stuff about John Wick 2,
Oh,
but the
2
thing
is
is
great
like,
I
too.
went through the
I
job, dude.
but like personally, like I see the trailers for these movies, and I'm like, it looks cool, but I'm not like super excited for it because it's essentially the same thing. I mean, whether they're good or not is a whole different story, but I don't know, like so Atomic Blonde, like it looked cool, and I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, Charlize Theron, she's awesome,
Oh yeah, I could
good
probably
moves
go
in
see
there,
it
but
because
I'm
I feel
like,
because for
like
me
Baby Driver seemed more like a breath of fresh air,
that
and then
was
also too, you have again
Yes,
Edgar Wright.
without watching Baby Driver, I can say that it was more of a breath of fresh air.
I mean, and
Where
have
Atomic
any of you
Blonde
guys
felt
seen?
more of a like, ooh, that shit is like way action packed. The story was good, but I felt like the story could have at least been as strong as what the overall like story plot was and like the timeline. Like you have so many elements going on, and it felt like one of those like really try hard spy movies where it's like I'm gonna double cross and you who's playing what side and blah 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 and
Yeah, and
ooh
see,
twist ending that wasn't
and that's
quite
and
a twist
that's
ending because you
that
kind of
that
you kind of figured.
yeah. I mean, that's been the thing with those movies. It's like they may be good, but essentially, like when you look at it, it's gonna be either one of two things. It's either gonna be a really solid movie, maybe not complex but solid, or it's gonna be a movie that's trying to be complex and it just ends up being all over the place. So it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna judge it till I see it. There's only one franchise that I probably do that with, and that's the Fast and Furious franchise, and because it's
rightfully
just like,
so, rightfully
yeah.
so. It's okay,
Yeah,
rightfully
and
so.
it's like, but a lot of these other movies, like I'm not really gonna knock it till I watch it. I mean, because they do look interesting. It's just that like I don't know, like I hear people talking about, yo, you gonna see that? Nah, man, like I'm good.
That
Like, have you
instantly
seen
makes me not
Planet of
want to
the
go
Apes
see
yet?
that movie.
Yeah, like have you seen Planet of the Apes yet? Like I'm still trying to see Dunkirk. Like, yo, I'll take Dunkirk over
Oh
I
fuck
Atomic
yeah.
Blonde any day.
I want to see Dunkirk, but I heard from a lot of sources as beautifully made and as good as the story is and the overall like visuals and like sound is for that story,
Hmm.
it's one of those one and done movies. Like it's not
Oh, that's
like
fine.
an Inception, it's not like a Dark Knight where you're gonna watch that movie and be like, damn, I need to watch this shit again.
Hey,
It's almost like
Nothing wrong with
it
that.
doesn't leave you right, and there isn't anything wrong with it. But for
but
me, I'm like I'm almost hesitant to watch it in the movie because I feel like if I'm spending like real money for this and I'm not gonna wanna like see this again, then why spend
I
money to see it the
Well,
first time?
I haven't
well,
seen
I
it.
don't understand that logic.
Yeah, like
Like
I haven't seen it, but I
Well,
think
more
that it's
so like
probably one of those things that people.
I can wait till I can wait till it
th-
comes on HBO. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna
eh,
sit here,
but I feel like
but
it's one of those
but
movies you
some
have to see
experience
in the
is
theaters.
lost. Right, some experience is lost when
Like
you
I would
don't see
say
it at the
go
way
see
it's
Baby
supposed to be
Driver
seen
in
in
the
IMAX
theater.
or whatnot.
Yeah, like
Right.
see, like the body count Atomic Blondes and John Wick movies. I personally would probably enjoy them a lot more. Well, John Wick I know is an exception because I saw the first one. Um, did I say Inception or Exception? Anyways, but
Whichever.
I didn't
um,
catch it.
same. But yeah, like with those movies, I feel like it's something I could watch at home and thoroughly enjoy. But like something like Dunkirk, whether it happens to be the best movie in the entire planet, or whether it's just like a like you just used a one and done term, that's fine. I mean, but just because that movie in particular, like it's kind of like I wish I could have saw Saving Private Ryan in the theater. Yeah, I was young at the time. I was
Yeah, I'll probably
wasn't
never
really
watch
going to the
Saving
movies.
Private Ryan again,
We
but
were all like
that was
maybe
cool
like
to watch.
7 when that movie came out. Well,
Yep.
no, 7.
And there's
Was
a
it
and
ballpark?
it I was in junior high school when that came out. I want to say I was like in
I thought Saving
seventh or
Private Ryan
eighth
was like
grade.
96.
It might have been it might have been out of something like that. It was old. I remember it came out maybe when I was oh yeah, it did no never mind because I know it was on TV when in '99 when the Knicks were in the finals. I know it was on TV. But well,
Yeah.
HBO or whatever. But back then,
Because you
things took like
figure
a million years to come.
a lot of those guys were in their like early part of their careers during this at this point.
yeah. But there's like and there's like a lot of movies out there that maybe like you see it once and it's really good, but you won't see it again. A movie like that would be Buried with Ryan Reynolds. Really fucking good movie, but you're not gonna watch it.
Damn,
You're not gonna watch more than one time.
I actually can't argue that with you. Like, for instance, like, like you said, Inception is a movie that you'll see over and over again because there's enough to see.
What was that movie?
Buried is
12 Years a Slave. That's definitely a once.
one and done.
Oh yeah, I've heard people, even critics are like, it's a great movie, but you really you don't want to see that more than once.
Yeah, there's some movies that it's just like so.
Wow.
That's the thing
Well,
with
'cause it's so
Dunkirk. I feel like
intense.
it's it's something like that. You watch it once and it's well done and it's a great movie, but like you're not gonna sit there because Inception. First of all, Inception I think was purposely made for that. But Dunkirk, maybe he intentionally did that. Because it is based on a true story. I don't know how much how
The
tightly
people that
based it
like that
is.
stuff a lot will see it over and over again regardless. People will still buy
Yeah,
the
right.
movie.
Hey, people watch Friends
Yep.
over and over again.
Yep. I had one night of Friends one time. One of my
You know what's
friends
funny?
really
Like,
into
as
it.
much as I loved Friends back in the day, like I can't, like, aside from clips that I find on like Facebook or some shit, like I don't see myself sitting here and like watching it over again.
And what about comedies? Like, there are some funny ass comedies, but how many times can you watch a comedy consecutively
Depends
without
on
it being like? I
depends on the
mean, some of
comedy.
them, like dude, The
I
Office,
mean,
I can watch
I
over and
can
over
watch
again.
old school every day.
Well, I
Old
mean, like,
Dude, I
school
could watch Bill and Ted
basketball.
every
Are you
day. Are
talking
you
about like?
kidding me?
like I love The Office, things like that. But if I watch that movie, I mean, if I watch The Office, like if I watched every season every day, I mean, it's still gonna be funny, but it's just like, all right, cool, give it a rest. Like you can go back like sometime after, so like not everything's made to be or like those Kevin Hart stand-up comedies. Like the first couple ones were funny as fuck. But like you can only watch it like so many times. So I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess I think maybe
Well,
a
and
lot of
then
the
again,
thought
Kevin
Dunk.
Hart gets old fast because
Yes.
of the following that he has, where people just like,
Saturated. Yeah.
L.O. Dick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone,
Yeah.
like,
When people
over-says
start,
his
yeah,
jokes
when
before
people
he
start
even gets a
using
chance,
it,
like, yeah.
yeah, when people just start fishing for reasons to use one of those lines, like it's like, all right,
Mhm.
like if it comes up in context, like there's one joke of his where he was talking about like little kid being gay or some shit like that, and it's funny because one of my little brothers, when he was very small, he used to come out and stand with his chest out, like, and it was kind of feminine. So like I thought it was funny because that kind of came, ran close to home. I wish like I
Mhm.
had seen that. I wish that comedy came out when he was doing that, so it'd be a lot more effective. But yeah, I don't know. Like and part of me thinks with Dunkirk that like people were expecting a crazy war epic, and it wasn't that. And so. But like all I want to see is a solid movie. Whether I enjoy, I'm trying to think of something more recent that I saw once and I thought was really good. But I'm like, I probably won't watch it again. I'm trying to think because I know there was a couple of them like that. Obviously not the Star Wars and the Marvel movies and whatnot, but and there's one out there. Shit, can't remember. You know what? Something like Get Out. Get Out, amazing movie. I'll probably watch it like one more time, but that's not something I'm gonna go back and watch over and over again. So like when people start drawing comparisons to Inception and Dunkirk, I think that's horrible to do because those are two completely different movies and they were made for two completely different purposes. It's like
Absolutely. But
Dunkirk was
but
probably
because
like a
because they were made by the same person, you're gonna
yeah.
get comparisons
But
regardless.
but that what that's stupid too coming from I mean I don't know if those people are real Christopher Nolan fans because all his movies are relatively different. I mean, the closest two were
Oh,
Inception
absolutely.
and
At this point,
Interstellar.
he's just trying to get one epic movie out of each genre that he can. Like when he fucking like when he does a romance comedy that like for the ages, it's gonna be like the new Sleepless in Seattle. You Got Mail. Like he's just gonna fucking kill it, and that's gonna be the new thing, and that's
Yeah,
it. So, John.
yeah. I mean, and like I don't know, like I can't,
You've got
I
mail.
want to see that movie so badly. But yeah, like look at Prestige, Insomnia,
Right.
what's the other name? The other movie, Memento. uh, The Dark Knight. All of those movies are completely different. Like like I said, the two closest ones would probably be Inception and Interstellar, and they're still completely different.
Right.
Well, The Dark Knight Returns, but that's based off of something. But I don't know. So like, but yeah, like I'm more concerned with seeing like Dunkirk than like Atomic Blonde. Like, and then there's something else coming out soon. Oh, Kingsman.
Yes,
Like that's
Yes, that looks fucking amazing.
that looks
and
great.
and you know what? You know what's funny?
Fantastic.
Like that new Thor trailer, dude. You remember how I said Wonder Woman? If it's done well, it might be
I
the
heard
best comic book
none
movie ever
of.
created.
Did you stop talking, or did like was there like a mic drop?
Maybe a mic drop because I didn't stop talking.
Okay.
I never stopped.
It's
No, but
a silly question to ask, Lawrence.
yeah. What
Right.
was it with Wonder Woman when it came out? Like when the trailer came out, you can go back and I even said this might be the best comic book movie ever created. I mean, I still don't think it was, but it was up there. But I think Thor, if the trailers are any consolation to what the movie will be, I think it might be Marvel's best movie outside of the Captain America franchise and the first Iron Man. Because it just looks like, I mean, granted, it's Thor and Hulk, but it just looks like something completely different. And it looks like, I mean, I could totally be wrong because trailers are so misleading, but it looks like we might be getting like a big time villain or threat.
Right?
Yeah, I could be wrong because they always make it look like that. Like they did it with Ultron, and Ultron was a big bitch.
Yeah.
I feel like they're probably saving their big guns for Thanos, but I don't know. But it just looks like completely different. Like the first trailer, I was like, "Ah, this looks cool," but the last one that just came out, even though they showed things I felt like they shouldn't show with the Hulk, whatever, I was like, "This shit looks cool." Like, it didn't look stupid. It looks like it's gonna have its, and I don't know. Like, am I the only one that sees the Guardians of the Galaxy aesthetic in it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like
I
it's
mean,
almost
I
like
feel like that's gonna. Even though Infinity Wars is the movie to tie everything together, I still think that Thor's end credit scene is gonna be the actual like link to Infinity Wars and to the new Guardians of the Galaxy and like try to pull everything together.
probably.
I have to like.
What comes out before Infinity Wars and
Black
it doesn't
Panther.
Black Panther come out before?
Hmm?
You know what though? I think you're right though
But I'm
because
I'm
even though-
doubtful. But I'm doubtful that Thor is gonna connect. But I feel like Black Panther is gonna be slight standalone, but probably includes shit like the Inhumans, maybe.
like how Spider-Man their end credits or whatever really didn't like give you anything.
Yeah, they don't do
like
anything.
there was Easter eggs throughout the movie, but it wasn't like a direct like, oh shit, he's coming kind of thing. So yeah, you're right. I think Thor will probably make more of an emphasis on that, and Black Panther will be almost like, yeah, like hey, yeah, like they'll give you something, like maybe a line or a reference in the movie, but like the actual end credit scene is just gonna be like something pertaining to something else, maybe like Black Panther 2 or some shit like that.
Yep. Ant-Man and
I'm
Wasp.
I'm
Oh yeah.
maybe true. I feel like we don't get enough of Ant-Man in like these end credits, and like and out of the movies out of the MCU that are like, I won't say like there's been any like true weak links other than like the Iron Man 3s and such, but like for a debut solo film, like Ant-Man is like did really well, and still only got like maybe a few minutes in Civil War plus a standalone film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would love to see more of him in the upcoming MCU like overall arc. I know he's getting his second movie, but like I need more of Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly. Am I saying her name right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Like I would
I
need
agree.
more of that because I feel like they were such like a good like dynamic pair kind of thing, and they did. The MCU is essentially doing a thing where like they're like, we don't have all the properties and the assets that we can possibly utilize. So what do we have? We have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, maybe some of that, and then they're just like, you know what? We're just gonna fucking put it together and make the best of it. And they've been fucking executing.
You know what I hope they do, and I don't know if we had this conversation or I had this conversation somewhere else, but all right, so after Thanos is, and I think we did have this conversation, like after
Yes.
Infinity Wars.
Who's the new big bad?
Yeah, like I think they should, no, not even that. I think that their next phases should be completely original stories. Like never mind, get over this Civil War or whatever arc, because it's gonna be hard until they get all these pieces. Like I say, create your own thing so that you don't have that criticism of, oh, this wasn't like this or this wasn't like that, even though they don't get it as much as
I mean,
they should.
you can do. Well, are they doing the scrolls? So they're doing what's
Yeah,
that? Isn't
Marvel's
that
supposed
Secret
to.
Secret
Wars?
Wars.
Yeah,
So
but I mean,
I
just
feel
like
like that's gonna be the next.
I don't know,
Like
I just think they should create their own.
I know what you mean. Like I completely 100% agree with
They
that.
won't
But
do
I
it.
think like they're not gonna do it.
Yeah,
They're not
because there's
like they're gonna go into Secret Wars and
Well, they
then
have
what's
too
the
much stuff that they
other
can do
big
that people will know that they can get hyped from.
yeah, that's the thing too. But
right?
I think it would be cool to like just like have some completely new
Oh, fuck yeah.
yeah, like some completely new thing. But yeah, they won't. Hollywood won't experiment with that. Like the comics do it all the time, but yeah, Hollywood's not gonna be like, oh yeah, let's go with Court of Owls, or make some random ass villain for
Oh,
the movie.
dude, that
'Cause
would be so cool if they did a Court of Owls movie for
they do a
Batman.
Court of Owls, I would shit my pants, man.
E-
Especially it with all
Even
the
if
way the DCEU is, with all the criticism and whatnot, with being too dark and this and that. Like Court of Owls is perfect for that, because Court of Owls
well,
is like Zack Snyder should do a Court of Owls movie.
Well, yeah.
Like I
if
think him and someone should collab.
I'm totally with the Court of Owls if they're gonna do it like because yes, the entire DCEU is a very dark universe right now, and I'm putting quotes for the people who can't fucking see me.
Which is
But
everybody but me.
which
And
everybody but me and Danny right now and Tommy. So like granted, it is a very dark world that they're building shy of what I'm hoping they could do with the Flash. And I know they have done with Wonder Woman.
Hmm.
Court of Owls will work, but if done right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Court of Owls was so carefully written and beautifully illustrated by Scott and Greg that like to just do it just to do it, even though it still has the same tone, you know what I mean? Is gonna be one of those things where you're like if you do it and you fuck it up, there's gonna be more like
You know what though? Like it's
there's
funny
gonna
because
be more grief. There's gonna be more grief than there is thanks.
it's funny
there's
though,
always
they
going to be
probably
more.
won't ever get away with doing that because the average fan isn't going to understand it. Like the thing with Snyder's stuff, like people criticize, like we speak about this all the time. They criticize the Man of Steel and all that stuff, but like if you really pay attention, Snyder he pays a lot of attention to detail, at least to the visuals of the comics and whatnot. Like I go back to Watchmen.
No,
Watchmen is
I'm not gonna deny that. Like
yeah.
so, I think my biggest gripe isn't towards his acknowledgement and his understanding of comics
Mhm.
or the comics that he adapts from, but like essentially my only because I liked Watchmen enough that when I understood what the source was because I never like read or understood the source before watching Watchmen, and I only knew Scott from stuff like 300. Like I was like, oh, okay, this makes way more sense. The only reason why I was so like coming out of Batman versus Superman was it felt like they like cherry picked 5 to like 10 different sources,
Mhm.
where right now Marvel doesn't have all their properties. So there's a need to like pick this story, and this story, and kind of
Yeah.
combine them. Perfect example is Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is essentially two different storylines that they're throwing in and combining to one one main story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
I still don't put the
for
blame
you
on
to do
Snyder.
it, but for you to do it for Batman versus Superman, where you own all your properties, there's no need to like throw all this into a blender
Well,
and then
honestly, if they
spit
were
out
gonna
a
do
movie
that, they shouldn't
that
have
doesn't
done.
feel.
They shouldn't have billed it as Batman versus Superman. And what they should have
Mm-hmm.
done is they should have followed the fucking Frank Miller books a little bit better, and actually done it well.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome to
Fuck
Geek.
revival. And you know
Right,
who I put? And you know
here's the
who
thing.
I who I
I think
blamed
it
for that?
didn't know. I think it didn't know where it wanted to be as far as timeline.
And
Because
that's
once you get an older Bruce and a younger Superman, who are not pretty much at like different levels in their careers or as superheroes, it sets two different tones of the universe.
yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, I
And
agree. Because
granted, granted, you're gonna get two different tones as it is because they are two completely different heroes.
Oh yeah, of
Like
course.
everyone who knows
Agreed.
anything about them knows that. But it sets so much dramatic, like where by the time Bruce is where he is in Dark Knight, he's fucking more cynical, more bitter, and more like jaded than any fucking hero because he's over it. You know
Well,
what I
it's
mean?
because he's been retired for 10 years.
Yeah.
In the book,
He's
he's
been
been retired
retired
for
for 10
10
years.
years. He's bored and he wants to go back to doing what he loved, which was scaring the ever living shit out of criminals. Like he even
Right.
said, like you, and that's the worst part is like they even did an animated one where they did the Dark Knight. They did the whole animated version of the Dark Knight Returns, and
Yeah.
there was that because it was Frank Miller, he had such a really cool inner monologue, and it gave you like so much more in depth of how like Batman was thinking and the whole 9 yards. So I mean, I don't know. It's just for me, they could have.
I I, I
I just don't.
appreciate
I
because
don't
did you guys hear
understand
about
why
the
that.
rumor about Batman Beyond?
What rumor is that?
That so they're so apparently they're actually confirming a Batman Beyond movie with Ben Affleck slated for later in their DCEU like storyline arc. However, where I've always been like, fuck it, no one's ever gonna make a live action, so I'm just gonna write my own. I'm not as like hesitant about it. I'm like, all right, sure, give it a shot. Like if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. At the end of the day, it's like Batman versus Superman. I can't complain no matter what because I'm gonna get what I get, and I can't complain.
Yeah.
However, if they do it right, meaning you take an old and bitter Bruce as he is right now, how Frank Miller depicted him, and then take him through the ringer of fucking battles with Darkseid and whatever the case is in their universe, and then eventually show us that old, you know, battle worn Bruce of the future, who's just like, all right, I can't be Batman, but the world needs a Batman. Then I'll probably be more open to it. You know
Well,
what I mean?
you heard you did hear the rumors about the Flashpoint movie, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
no, but here's the thing: that movie can totally straighten out whatever inconsistencies there may or may not be within this current universe. So like we spoke about that before. Like all you got to do is throw in multiverse or some term like that, and you can
Mhm.
completely change the whole dynamic. So if you have a thing that's going bad, or even like Marvel, like say they happen to get the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four in the near future, all they got to do is throw the word multiverse and boom, they don't even have to reboot the current Marvel thing. They can just integrate each thing. So I mean, if that I'm a little like I'll wait till things come into play more, but I mean
Mhm.
that right there could be the saving grace of whatever inconsistencies and mistakes, because like I the Batman versus Superman is not perfect, but I took more good than bad out of it. But if you can like
Right.
sharpen the edges per se and just tidy up a couple of things there, Flashpoint would be the way to do it, and then you can have the perfect
Flashpoint can be a huge reset button.
yeah, that's what
However, however, let's say we don't get a Flashpoint,
mm-hmm.
or we do get a Flashpoint, but it doesn't necessarily reset, as opposed to more of like it's a standalone movie, and then it could possibly reset, but it never does.
Yeah.
How would they be able to fix what they've already, like, again, going back to what I said earlier, like they have all these properties and they have all these stories to choose from. Right now it's a jumbled mess. How would they be able to like iron out the kinks and like just push on forward?
Well, I mean, the same way they do it in comics, like I said, throw them. You don't have to have Flashpoint,
You
but
know
throw the
they.
word multiverse in there or something. There's ways to do it. I mean, if you get the
So
right writers,
just retconning everything
yeah,
basically.
you could do that too. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did some things along the lines with that with Ghost Rider. Now I'm not justifying anything in that situation right there, but I mean there's ways around it. Like if you have talented writers, like if they're smart, Warner Brothers if Warner Brothers is smart, they'll bring in, or if they haven't already, bring in like legit comic writers and have them be a pivotal part of everything. Because, what was I gonna say? Fucking like, I think they're the problem with everything going on right now. It's not Snyder. It's not David Ayers. It's not Ben Affleck. It's not Henry Cavill.
It's the studio
Warner
itself.
Brothers, yeah. Because the
Right.
thing is, they don't understand what we're all trying to say, and you can't tell them any different because they're Warner Brothers and they know what the fuck they're doing. But like
Which
we
makes
always,
no sense because they have
they have all the rights
if
to everything.
if they have their rights to everything, but not even that, their animated universe is a continuous story of the new 52 arc, essentially.
Kind of, but the thing with that though is a lot of their animated stuff has been kind of shitty too when you compare it to like a lot of at one point.
I'm not saying that it's been great. I love the animated stuff, but it hasn't been great. But it's been better than what we're potentially, or what most people feel like they're gonna potentially get with the DCEU.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But see, me personally, like, I just think that these things can be etched out, but they have to start doing it now. I still stand by my statement about Justice League being an amazing movie. I think it's a way simpler story to tell. Like, yeah, we're gonna have Steppenwolf and Darkseid along the lines. I just think that what they did with the Batman versus Superman movie was they took too many big stories and put them into one. When half of that, like they could have.
They wanted to rush where there was no need to rush. We did.
Yeah, exactly.
We've always wanted that movie. So if we got it now, or we got it like 3 years from now, if we would have gotten a better movie, there wouldn't have been as much backlash and as much need for us to get like a Justice League movie. Let's say Batman vs Superman was broken into two parts.
Dude, what? Don't even go there, because really the problem is what they should have done is built it. Try not to make the third fucking movie coming out of. Well, sorry, Wonder Woman was the third movie, so Justice League is the fourth movie out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Where Marvel took like 8 movies.
Mm-hmm. Like what they were essentially trying to do is play catch up, where there was no need to, and no one really like asked to like, oh, we need all the movies right now. Like, no one was in a rush. If you would have if you would have slow burned, Tommy's favorite fucking phrase, if you would have slow burned this, we would have been fine.
Even if they went and only took 5 movies and only and did a single movie for each one. For because they don't have to have 7 fucking people in the Justice League.
No. Absolutely not. Essentially, you need a couple standalone films and one big bad to bring them all together, because essentially you can have one big bad bring them all together without a standalone film and explaining any backstory faster than what Marvel did.
Yeah, you know what though? Honestly, like, I mean, they should have done it a different way, but the way they're doing it, honestly, like, it's not as bad as people make it seem.
Well,
I mean,
I'm not
first
saying
of all,
that it's bad. They executed terribly on the film.
Yeah.
I know. But they just executed terribly.
Listen, right now they're at a disadvantage. Right now they're like, they basically shot themselves in the leg and was like, we're gonna run a triathlon. And it's like, bro, what the fuck do you mean right now? Like,
you know what though? But if anything,
for the long run, but you already like put yourself at a disadvantage. It's not gonna work that way.
If anything could fix it, and if they could, if they're gonna restart, I mean, what better way to do it than with Justice League? Because honestly, they could have put out a Flash and an Aquaman movie, and now everybody's got such a big microscope on them, expecting everything to be, like, as good as it should be or whatever. So my thing is this: with Justice League, like I've always said, it's a way simpler concept. I think it's a great way to introduce everybody to.
Oh, for sure.
Especially now, because the thing is with Marvel.
I mean, we're getting essentially what Justice League War was, except you're switching out Thanos, Darkseid with Steppenwolf.
And that's actually a better thing to do, because in the way they did it in the comic was pretty weird, where like they Darkseid just came out, got his ass kicked, like went back to the
Right.
apocalypse, but then he had a grander scheme, but you're
You,
not gonna
you know what
get.
I wanted to see? I feel like we should even see Darkseid for a while because we should get Mongol. Mongol would be a fucking amazing like villain for the DCU to keep the Justice League theme going, because essentially like let's say they build the Watchtower, which
Yeah.
would be amazing to see on the big screen. They build the Watchtower, they're doing all this stuff. Mongol comes with his fucking war, planet, like kind of thing, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna do fucking what I do.
What's the cool
That
thing about that? Like, though, even though, yeah, I feel like he should have been before. There should be a couple more villains before Darkseid. But the thing is, one, you got a guy like Mongol, you got a guy like Antimatter, even Brainiac. Those guys are all
wait,
formidable
weren't
world
they
beaters.
supposed to do Brainiac? Like they
Supposedly.
I remember reading it. They said something about Brainiac after
There
Man
was
of Steel.
there was rumors about that, and there was rumors about him being in Justice League and whatnot. But I mean, I still want to see Brainiac more than anything. He's one of my favorite villains.
Oh, yeah.
Brainiac is like my second favorite like villain, short of Lex.
Yeah,
And that's speaking of like grand villains. Like I
Yeah.
love the Joker, but as far as like grand villains that really take the entire Justice League to defeat, I would say fucking Brainiac and Lex. Like
yeah, and that's why
which
that's
is why
like,
which is
even
why
if
I'm
we're-
still kind of salty about Lex right now.
I don't know. Like even with like, all right, we're getting Darkseid soon, but first of all, nobody ever said that they were gonna beat him. So that's one thing. I mean, the assumption is, yeah, they're gonna beat him in Justice League too.
I mean,
But like the thing is, like I say, if they do defeat him, or not kill him, but if they defeat him, there will be other. The advantage they have over
Right,
Marvel is that there
but
will
I
be
feel
other
like-
world beaters. Like you have Mongol, you have Antimatter, you even have the Crime Syndicate.
what about
So it's like,
yes and no. Like if we see Crime Syndicate, I'd fucking lose it. Like I'd be like, oh shit, they actually know what they're doing over
dude,
there.
I think I mean,
But-
I know Snyder's not gonna be like down with anything no more, but I think if he could pull off anything, the Crime Syndicate would be fucking perfect, because like you have the sort of darker, serious Superman already, and then you just add that to the mix. I mean, and there's a lot more. You have what's his name,
There's
Solomon
so much.
Grundy.
There's so
Oh,
much
yeah.
you can do. Ooh, fucking! If we get a Solomon Grundy, like,
Dude.
there's so much stuff. Like, as like,
Fucking Doom,
my,
man.
you guys
Fucking
speaking,
Legion of
I'm
Doom.
fucking over here. Like, my inner fanboy is trying to keep himself contained, but it's also like a thing where like, like, fool me once. You know what I mean? Like-
Dude, I think honestly,
and it's not. And again, listen, I tried my best to love Batman vs Superman, but the only saving grace right now to the DCEU was Wonder Woman, and I called that shit fucking almost a half a year ago. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, DCEU needs Wonder Woman, and it's gonna be the movie that saves them. And what happened? Fucking Wonder Woman was amazing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I know anyone that spoke badly about the movie. Now,
I just hated the
how,
whole
like-
love thing at the end. Like, oh, love, power of
Fuck-
love,
fuck
bullshit.
that.
But yeah, it was still.
despite all that nonsense.
No,
like,
it was solid,
listen.
dude. Like it was the you know what? It was funny
that was
because like
that was my
It sticks
that
with
was
the
my
story,
gripe
so-
with fucking Rogue One was I was looking I promise you I was watching Rogue One and I looked at Hutch in his face and I said, yo, Hutch, if they kiss right now on screen, I'm gonna fucking walk out of this movie.
and
he
they
was like,
didn't.
yo, and they didn't, but they got
And everybody
so
fucking
close.
died, and I loved it.
I'm so glad. No, understand how happy I was that they didn't, because
me
I
too.
fucking could not have that.
Yeah, me too, dude. Like I honestly like, and I'm even glad that Finn and Ray didn't have a thing.
Yep.
Like I love that because it doesn't have to be fucking Finn and Ray.
You said late.
Finn and Ray. I said Ray. I
He
said Finn and
definitely-
Ray didn't have a thing.
Chris,
But-
definitely been.
Yeah, law confirms. I said Finn and Ray. But
I
but yeah,
heard
no, like
that.
so. But yeah, back to the whole. Like I honestly think Justice League is going to be that movie. I mean, like I just don't see it being as convoluted as Batman versus Superman was. That's my only issue with that movie. It was the convolution of the fact that it was convoluted, because a
Yep.
lot of those stories could have been its own standalone thing. I thought the tone,
They
I thought
were.
the portrayals of, I thought the imagery, I thought like everything else outside of the convoluted story, I thought was brilliant. If they would have just narrowed it down to one thing, and I don't blame Snyder for that. Like I think I will still stand behind the fact that I think Ben Affleck in a fraction of, because he was a fraction of that movie, I think he was the best on-screen portrayal of Batman and Bruce. Because Keaton was
Agreed.
good,
I'm
Christian Bale
gonna.
was good. Christian Bale was only a product of a
So
great franchise.
I'm
Because
gonna agree. I'm gonna agree and
Dude,
disagree
you don't
only
have to
because
do
he's
anything. It's just an opinion.
right. No. So yes, he is the best portrayal of both, but I can't give my full stamp of approval until I see the standalone film, because I feel like the same thing happened with Tom Holland in Civil War, where everyone's like, he's the hands down best Spider-Man, and then I was like, yeah, but we only seen like a little bit of him. Like we didn't see enough to actually warrant fucking
hey,
yeah,
Batman,
he's that dude.
Bruce got way more time than Tom Holland. Tom Holland was just a featured artist
Oh
in
no,
that
no,
in
no,
that
no.
song,
He
and
absolutely got mad time. He got
I
mad time.
I
And I'm not
I get
denying that he
I get
got
the
time.
argument.
It's just
I,
one of those things where I feel like he there wasn't enough balance of him. Like take him out of this whole I want to fight the Superman and blah, blah, blah. Like I don't even know that shit. Fuck that. Give me him in his element. Let me see how he does. I need more Alfred. Like absolutely. Like
oh,
you're gonna
definitely more
if you
Alfred.
cast
Yeah,
Jeremy Irons and you give him like this much of a fucking speaking role, I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck?
yeah. Well,
Granted, he did have like
supposed to be
strong
Superman's
lines, but
movie. That was supposed to be Man of Steel 2, and they turned it to Batman versus Superman. So, and the thing is, we didn't at that point, we didn't need any more Batman. Like as much as we, for the story, but like we've seen Batman time and time again. Like we have, how many we have what, 7 Batman movies?
Oh, we have a shit ton of Batman movies. So we also have a shit ton of we also have a shit ton of Superman movies.
Yeah. Alright. Let's get it. Selly double. Simon left. 30 Dan on the beat. It's like this. I see you, homie. Yeah. Yo, ain't met the motherfucker yet that can match with me. So unless your name time, you ain't getting the track with me. Ha. And everybody know this. I start doing collabs, you finna get exposed, bitch. Ellie where the soul is. About a year ago, Ellie was an addict and hopeless. But I made the decision to get driven and get living. A big vision, get them focused, and you know this. So come and roll with me, smoke with me, hope with me. I leave your mind opening. Grow with me, got folk with me. Hopefully, vocally change the globe globally. Know the street, love pot, listen to Mo Biggie. It molded me to give it all, but float in the pocket. The motherfucking proof in the pudding, the two-piece. Leave you woozy, now you're losing your footing, we two beasts. You losing, man, we do what you couldn't. You claim you too ill, you truancy student, so move with the movement. You know exactly where to find me at. In the studio, committing homies. Got a body bag, probably in designer cabs. Even though I speak against them, we all fucking hypocrites. Only difference, we address them. And I'm not the type to be your best friend just to fuck your girl. When you turn around, it'll leave you tempted to take it all. Man, get involved and stay involved, to get a job and start living for a greater cause. Just saying, dog, I ain't fake at all. They was hating on us, we made it, and now they praise the God. No mistaking, y'all. I go ape shit, I will get angry on the motherfucker. Start throwing punches and breaking jaws. You think I'm lying, you happen to doubt me. Take a trip to my hometown, start asking about me, motherfucker.
what's up? What's up? What's up? This is the law, and you're listening to Geek Ronin.
Yeah, and
Well, Superman movie.
well, you have 4 Superman movies, and one of them was like, yeah, but but compare that to the amount of Batman we've seen. And the thing
You
with
know,
Batman
someone
is it's
argued
fucking
that
well,
the Superman Returns movie was actually better than Man of Steel, was it?
oh, they could
Huh.
suck my dick with that shit. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
And I was,
that's a
Dude,
little shit.
I love
it was.
Man of Steel. I will back that to my fucking grave. I think the Man of Steel
Listen, I'm
was
a huge Batman fan, and I'll fucking back that movie up myself.
yeah, like yo, I don't get because he killed somebody. He fucking had to. Like like I don't know. It's just it's funny because
He did have
for
to. That
yeah,
mother, he had
and
to.
and when have you seen Superman that excuse me portray that kind of or display that kind of power? I mean, granted, back in the day it was harder to do it, but I mean, Superman movies. There's been 4 Superman movies, and in every fucking Superman movie, the most he's stopped is a fucking plane, for the most part. I know he's done more than that. I'm just saying, like that was his biggest like thing. This dude, you really saw the power of Superman, and I love even in Batman versus Superman, his struggle with like where do I stand, and like people knocked him for that, like him looking confused, and that's the point because he's a being that he doesn't belong here. He doesn't owe anything to us. He could easily fucking wipe us out if he had to. He can control us if he
Right.
wanted to. So it's like, but he chose to stay.
But there's a difference between internal conflict
Mhm.
and you basically being a Elseworlds version of yourself.
All right, all right.
Because in
Well,
Elseworld, he became like the Batman, and he was dark, he was brooding, and
oh, dude.
it took
Whoa,
away from
dude.
this shining hope. Like I
No.
don't need.
Well, that's because you're
I-
going after the fucking 50s and the 60s. When
Yeah.
Superman and
but I
when
don't
Superman was
need that.
originally
I
incepted,
don't.
he was dark and he
That
killed
line in
people. He
Batman
was in
versus
New York
Superman.
City.
Right.
Yo,
I'm
that
not-
line in Batman versus Superman where this dude said this isn't 1948 anymore, that summed it up perfectly because everybody wanted this Boy Scout. But look, here's the thing: if DC,
I don't need a Boy Scout, but you need.
no, but that's what everybody else wants.
Wait, but even Cap, you saw Cap from when he first came out to now. He's pretty much the same like archetype from his first inception on the MCU like universe till now. You basically see an evolution of character development that we could have gotten with Superman. Not to say that Marvel and DC need to share the same fucking like
Look up the
fucking
origins of
characters.
Superman. They went old school with. That's why I was always so fine with it because if you really look deep into the fucking history of Superman, he did kill people. And granted, he only did that in the movie. He really only did that because he had
But
to. But no. Let me finish.
I'm not arguing.
He's
I'm not arguing the killing.
well, no, the killing part is regardless, but Superman wasn't always this bright, shiny Boy Scout or even just the beacon of hope. Superman was the beacon of hope for Jewish people.
Wow.
Well, like not in a bad way, but you had
I
the
get what
two
you're saying.
Let us know.
people, the two creators were Jewish, and they created Superman as a way to escape and sort of give themselves something that the Jewish people could be proud of. Do you know what I mean? Like it was sort of the embodiment of what they wish they could do to make their lives better, to save people, to save other people. And this was what, the 1930s?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it started out Superman originally was a villain, and then they quickly changed it around and made him a hero, but he was like the people's hero. He was sort of like Batman before Batman showed up, and
Okay.
he would kick the shit out of criminals and stuff like that. And then eventually he became that more writers got hold of him after Action Comics became DC Comics, and
Right.
he became much more, especially during World War II because he was already an icon. He became, truth, justice, and the American way, and that's where you get the overpowered, like Sterling, stand outside, big fucking chin, all brawny, and a fucking bald eagle, lands on his arm, and he turns over, and big coiffed hair, and the fucking light shines off his teeth. Like that's the image that everyone thinks of in Superman, but Superman wasn't always that way. Captain America's like that because he was invented strictly for that whole thing. That's what they were dealing with during World War II. So Marvel made Captain America, but Superman was already there. But they just took it and I do
Mhm.
believe the original creators didn't really have ownership of it, so the company just took it and twisted it into peace, truth, justice, and the
The
American way.
more you know.
Yeah.
And
Shit.
and
And
and wait, and people
uh-huh.
that complain about Batman killing people, they also have to look into Batman's history because for the first
Oh
time,
yeah,
Yes.
he
yeah,
killed people, he shot people, he used to have a fucking gun. Like Batman originally used to walk carry
yeah.
around a fucking gun and kill
And
people, and that's how it
it,
happened. And then
and a
it changed.
couple
But
and a couple of things too. Like in the movie, he did sort of make it known where he's like sort of I guess like going to do whatever it takes to stop him, and so it's like you see
But
that with him where he
but
portrays
that's
this
always
like
been the case though.
yeah, but he
For the
and
most
even
part,
a matter of fact and
he's
even
one of those like by any means necessary, this is gonna happen.
well, yeah,
The
but
newer version of Superman, as Tommy pointed out, isn't that way. Like he's gonna find the better way, the higher ground. Batman, I don't give a shit how it happens, but it's gonna happen.
so
You know what I mean?
really, so really, what we're seeing is either an old Bruce that doesn't care anymore about whether or not he kills criminals because they just keep coming and he's been fighting for so long and he's really accomplished nothing, that he's
hmm
just past the point of breaking his one rule because his one rule doesn't fucking change anything.
yeah,
Right.
look at
It's
where that
either
one rule
that
got him.
or like the original style Batman where he did carry around a gun and he did kill criminals, and you have a meeting of him with the original type of people's hero. He's down home. He's from Kansas, and he protects the little people. That's what his
hmm
thing
Right.
is. So
and then
he's dark and gritty too because he needs to protect these people as well. So instead of
yeah,
having the higher, I'll take the higher road person and the guy who doesn't give a shit. However, I got to get it done. I got to get it done. Now you have the same fucking thing, and
yeah, and
it's
one
like
thing
a rock in a hard place. It's
one thing Superman didn't just kill a regular human.
No,
So that's one
he
thing.
killed
Like
a threat to all of mankind.
yeah, somebody that
he,
could
he technically
destroy what he
killed
was
one of the
planning on
last of his own kind.
that too. So it's
He
like
was
that
willing to
Yeah.
kill one of the last of his race in order to save the planet.
And another thing with Batman is like they made a huge emphasis on the on Robin. Like they showed his costume hung up there a lot. And what was written on his costume?
I'm still
Message by
hearing
the
fucking
Joker.
rumors
I
that
don't
the
believe that shit.
Joker is him,
I
and
don't believe
like
that shit.
there's
That
more
could be.
credibility. There's more credibility to it not even being so. Yes, he killed Jason Todd, but apparently the Joker isn't Jason Todd. The Joker is Dick.
Dick
Who knows?
Grayson.
Yo, and I someone tried to argue with me about it, and I did the whole back and forth. Like in my plethora of knowledge of just going,
Isn't there supposed to
yes,
be a Nightwing movie?
Yes. There you go.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's supposed to be a Nightwing movie.
I heard Batgirl movie, but I didn't hear a fucking
Batgirl
Nightwing.
too,
I think
yeah.
it was San
That's
Diego Comic Con was
loosely.
Nightwing movie. Let me look it up real quick just to make sure, but I'm pretty
San
sure
Diego
Nightwing
was
movie.
a weird. Like I didn't get all of the news from that, and I'm still fucking trying to wrap my head around shit that came out of San Diego.
And going back to the whole Batman thing, right? So he has Robin's suit up there.
Right.
So like that was just a reminder of look at where not killing the bad
God.
guy got. He lost his son per se. Not Damien, but Dick and all those kids were his sons. Barbara was like a daughter to him. So yeah, so like being that the guy who he chose not to kill time and time again killed the closest thing he had to any kind of family outside of Alfred. Like yeah, so that I think there's no.
Do you think that
Oh yeah, dude,
do you
happening.
think that they're smart enough to incorporate what happened in was it the New 52 or Flash or what's the current DC thing? Not Flashpoint. Rebirth.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me. Do you think they're smart enough to incorporate what happened with the Joker having 3 entities? You guys know about that, right?
I haven't read any of that stuff. I'm familiar with it for like a. I mean, I'm
I
familiar with
haven't read all of it, but I know enough of it, like where Batman asked the identity of the Joker, and from
Yeah,
what
he
I
was
gather,
God.
they
Yeah.
basically say there's not just one Joker, there's three. Which I think if they're going with this Joker right now, where Jared Leto is the Joker,
Uh-huh.
quote unquote, or he's a Joker, there can be other iterations of him. So we can probably actually see something closer to the Mark Hamill version, or we can possibly see something closer to the New 52 Endgame version, or even the Death of a Family one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Did you guys see that image that was released of Jared Leto as the Joker? It was like a relatively recent photo taken of
But
him.
they did something with Jack Nicholson's suit,
No,
or
no,
something
no. It
close
was
to Jack Nicholson's suit.
he was just wearing the tuxedo, and it's
Yeah.
a picture
Okay.
of
Yeah.
him
Yeah. Yeah.
just like with the burnt face and like it like I don't know what made them release it, but anyways, that I mean just like you spoke about Tom Holland and we spoke about Ben Affleck not having enough time. I think if anybody got gypped is Jared, and I
Okay.
know it's
Oh, well, we said that. We've definitely had this like
that's what
where
when people shit on him, I'm like, yo,
he was the most talked about thing for the Suicide Squad movie, which I feel like again still dropped the ball. They
Oh yeah.
had so much to work with,
mhm.
and yet didn't use all the things that
It was
they like.
great. There was great movies within that movie, but they just didn't fall. And that is not Ayer's fault. That is the
No, no,
fucking
no, 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 no. Like you said, like again, this falls on Warner Brothers. And
dude. How do you have a fucking
if by some means Warner Brothers listens to this podcast, you guys fucked up, and I don't even give a shit. Like I love Warner Brothers, but you
yeah,
guys fucked up and dropped the ball
yo,
because
because
Hard.
like the thing is right, like you
Hard.
when I heard David Ayers was gonna be directing Suicide Squad, I automatically thought about Fury. I thought about Training Day, even though he didn't direct that, he produced it. End of Watch, which
Yep.
was a really fucking good movie.
Wow,
Even Street
really?
Kings.
Okay.
Street Kings was okay. Street Kings wasn't a bad movie. I mean, it wasn't great,
No,
but it was
I
Street
enjoyed
Kings
Street
is one of
Kings.
those movies that
watch
Is
one
it?
movie.
Is it? Yeah, it's not a great movie, but it's like a weird cult classic. It's not like everyone loves that movie,
It wasn't
but
horrible. Like I went to the
no
theaters
one
to see it.
wholeheartedly hates that movie.
Yeah, like I
I
went to
feel
the theaters to see it. I'm like, I didn't waste my money. I mean, it wasn't great, but so the thing is, like when you see Ayers attached to Suicide Squad, nasty, you would assume like that you're gonna get essentially Fury with comic book characters, and that's what the Suicide Squad was. That's what Fury is, the Suicide Squad of American troops or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, and the thing is, like, how do you have the fucking people that cut the trailers make the final cut of the movie? Like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, and you know, David Ayers
It's
is
because
taking
of
the
the
credit for it.
recasts and reshots and
Is that Chris in the background just saying "Yep"?
The dog's taking a shit like all over the place right now. Yeah, like she takes a shit and she like moves and finishes taking a shit. Like yeah, fucking retarded ass dog. But yeah, so like yeah, Suicide Squad had good movies within it, and it's like the characters were amazing for the most part. Harley, I did like Captain Boomerang. I thought this guy did a great job.
yeah.
Absolutely.
There wasn't enough of him. I didn't like Killer Croc in the sense that everything was like a ghetto one-liner.
Also, I did not feel scared or intimidated by him at all.
That was the
Or
problem.
no one else felt scared or intimidated.
No,
Like when
because
you
he was a
think
big.
when you think Killer Croc, you think 8 foot fucking tall, fucking crocodile man creature that can fucking clean your head off your shoulders in one bite.
Exactly, and that's
You
where
see
they
Killer Croc here, I'm like, yo, like
and
if he corners me in an alley, I'm not as scared. Like I'm scared because holy shit, he has like razor sharp teeth.
yeah, but
But
instead,
I'm probably gonna try to hold my own because he looks like a regular dude who
yeah,
just has a really fucked up acting issue.
Yeah, until he
And-
fucking tears you apart.
yeah.
Right. But even
think-
still, like come on, you and
I
me
think
are
the biggest issue outside of that, like was really that they were friends, man. Like, dude, like,
Yeah, they had like this whole
Yeah,
buddy.
we don't need this buddy shit. Fuck
yeah,
that.
like that was like, Sadie, stop, Sadie, shut up, fucking retarded ass dog. But yeah, like that was like, oh come on, man. But yeah,
Now,
that
now's not the
sorry,
time.
you guys, guest vocals. But yeah, nah, like it's just like you the whole friend thing, like that was just so like you didn't need that. And that was the studio trying to be more like Marvel. That's why you don't do what Marvel's doing. If you're doing your own,
True.
went through all the way. Like, because Marvel pulled that shit with Guardians of the Galaxy talking about we are Groot. That shit got me so pissed. They fucking holding hands to defeat Ronin.
Let's sing Kumbaya.
Oh shit! I mean, that was a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but
It
like,
was
yeah.
great, but at the same
shit was so-
time,
ah.
like again, Danny, like you hit the nail on the head when you said that fucking Marvel wastes villains. When I went back and actually looked at how crazy Ronin was, I was like, yo, why did they kill this guy again?
He had some sick
Like-
lines. You know, they're talking about like, yo, like he was intimidating, but then like he did nothing.
You're basically making like I can't even fucking put it. It's just a waste. It is such a waste.
So
of
at least
good.
even an underutilized Apocalypse was more menacing than more of the Marvel villains. Like, you know, Apocalypse.
Say that again one more time for the people not listening.
I say, you know, even somebody who's underutilized like Apocalypse was still more menacing than, you know, most of the Marvel villains, and it's a shame. I mean, the only thing, like, I mean, I must have repeated myself a million times with this. The only thing we've got remotely close to a menacing villain in the Marvel movies was the Hydra organization, which I'm okay with that because you know that really shows that Hydra is a thing.
But
But
it
there
should
was
be.
not one.
Like Hydra as an entity should have already been a thing that is menacing.
Yeah, they
without question. But
should've
not
gone
to
with
take
that.
away from anything else in the MCU that could be as menacing or as detrimental.
That's why, you know what, like people are getting at DC for not, you know, for like releasing the Justice League movie, then releasing the superhero standalone movies, and the superhero standalone movies are not origin movies. I'm actually kind of okay with that because if you think about it, like, I mean, I know, you know, some people may not know, some people may be lost, but we always say go and do your research. I mean, you could do your research with just about anything in this
Well,
world. Why
I
not a
look at it like
Marvel or
this,
DC
they're
movie?
smarter.
And you could focus more on the villains.
Well,
You
yeah.
could make a big ass villain instead of the whole movie being about how he got his powers, how he's dealing with regular life.
And
You know,
honestly,
like
if they were good at editing, they could somehow make it, you know, they could have elements during the story that sort of flash back
Superman,
to how he
Man
got
of Steel.
his. Yeah, like come on.
Man of Steel. Dude, the whole movie moved along, but they went and did flashbacks to even Deadpool.
Yep.
Though those were long
Deadpool.
Those were long flashbacks, but
They were long, but they were so fucking necessary and also fucking
intricately done.
useful.
Yeah, it was
Like
intricately done.
they didn't slow down the story. They kept it going, and you were just like, oh shit! Like I appreciate this character so much more.
They even did it in Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass wasn't an origin film. I mean,
True.
they went back and showed you like the little comic strips of, you know, when this dude was telling you know, the story about how what's his name? What happened to Big Daddy, and you know how he ended up in jail and all that shit. Like little things like that. Like in Spider-Man, I they didn't do this, but I thought it would have been cool if like the movie started out with him, you know, just either like fighting, you know, like that scene where he was breaking up the villains or whatever, the people robbing the bank. Like I thought it would have been cool if they did something where like he's fighting just a bullshit villain. Doesn't even have to be a villain. It could be just like regular people. And while he's fighting them, he's having a monologue talking about, oh, you know, like I was a couple years back, I was bit by a spider, blah, blah, blah. Like they do in the comics. Like if you read like an Amazing Spider-Man comic and you're in issue 9, you know, the issue will start off with like his dialogue saying like, oh, you know, like, hey, I was bit by a spider 10 years ago, you know, and meanwhile, this is in the middle of an arc, like, you already know his story, but they do it just to remind you. So, yeah, like, you can intricately do it, and Man of Steel, I think, was the best example, because, like, you had the movie, I mean, you had the beginning part of Krypton, whatever, but then when he came to Earth, like you had the modern time. It went back. It showed pivotal parts that changed his perception and his personality and shaped him to sort of be the person he is now. You know, letting his father die, things like that, which people knock that, and I thought like, yeah, you could have saved him, but that was the whole point of the movie. Like, you didn't, what's his name? His father didn't want the people to see him because they wouldn't be ready for him. So like, you know, it was brilliant. Like people are like, oh, he could have saved his father. Yeah, he could have saved his father, but then it becomes
it would have shaped who he was.
That's like when you're watching a horror movie or something like that, and they're like, oh, you're stupid. They shouldn't go in that room. If they don't go in that room, if they don't kill that person, if they don't, the movie doesn't happen. So it's like you have to understand this is just story.
It's
like
a plot device.
Like I watch yeah, exactly. Like I watch like at my job, like we'll be watching movies or whatever, like during downtime, and like the one of the guys I work with, he's so fucking literal, like, oh, that's stupid. That wouldn't happen. Yeah, I know that, man, but this is a fucking movie.
Yeah, that's kind of
This
the
is not
idea.
a documentary. It's like I'm gonna kind of segue into something, but like people are getting worked up about like the whole domino thing and everything. But like it's not
If we're going into Domino, can we stop and take a quick break and then come back and do Domino and Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Let's go masturbate real quick.
Yeah,
Rub
go
one
fap.
for that.
You know, snap.
Danny, I'm mad you don't have video on, because if you don't have pants on right now and you're fapping, that would be hilarious.
No, I actually have.
I'll be
jeans
sad.
on. I have jeans on and I'm playing Grand Theft Auto while I'm.
That makes me sad.
Super
That's the way to
gangster.
do it.
Breaking my heart.
No, because like I would put the video on, but like, you know, I have the whole thing with like a million people here, the dog and my roommate going back and forth. You know, like all that shit. So, you know,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right.
one day I'll get naked for you guys.
Hopefully.
Hey.
All right, we'll be back.
Don't make promises you don't intend to keep.
All right.
You have one new message. Main menu. To listen to your messages, press 1. For first, new message.
The following preview will retell the entire movie and probably spoil the whole experience. Don't ruin my movie, Hollywood! What's up, everybody? It's Croc from the block. Just wanted to check in with you and let you know how I feel about a certain subject that Hollywood, California seems to just keep getting on my nerves with. So, have trailers ruined your movie experience? You know what? I'll answer that for you. Absolutely. There's no question that movie trailers make or break a potential viewer on the fence about buying a movie to see said movie. However, what if you knew you wanted to see a movie before you saw the trailer? Again, I'll answer that for you. I don't want to watch it. Now, there's a difference between a trailer and a whole 10 minutes explaining the entire plot, showing all the good parts, and possibly showing how the movie will end. It seems like Hollywood can't get enough of ruining these movies for me. I will totally see a trailer for a movie I know nothing about. Get that clear. No, not something. Not like, you know, I know a little bit about it. Absolutely nothing. And that's why I draw the line. Don't show me all the actions. Don't show me all the jokes. Don't show me the plot with the resolution of the movie's conflict. Don't show me plot twists. Don't even show me surprises. Can you tell I'm upset? Can you? Well, it's not my fault. I made the mistake of watching a trailer about a year ago, and I uttered to my girlfriend after watching the trailer, well, I guess that was a good movie. Stop it. Stop it, Hollywood. Quit overselling the movie. No joke, I will shut my eyes, plug my ears with my fingers, and hum, because I will not allow a trailer to ruin the best scenes of the movie for me. As Frank Costanza from Seinfeld stated, I want to go in fresh. Maybe I'm overreacting, but show me a trailer and I will show you a desensitized viewer. Stop it. Stop it now. Give me the actors, a basic understanding of the movie, and one action scene or joke. I'll decide whether I want to go based on reviews, the words of my network, or the basic knowledge of what I know about a movie. Sincerely, a desensitized moviegoer, Croc from the block. Holla at you guys later. Geek Ronin for life.